So you're interested in buying luxury, or anything really, on the Japanese pre-loved market? This is the video for you. Hello, welcome back to Classics with a Quirk, where I talk about contemporary and luxury designer items and brands with a touch of silliness. This is the kind of content that you find interesting. Please do like this video and subscribe for more of it. Thank you. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, you'll probably know that I'm a huge fan of pre-loved luxury goods. I like being able to give things a second life. I often like discontinued colors or styles, and sometimes the treasure hunt is really fun and you often get things for a discount. For those of you who are not familiar with this channel, hi, I like pre-loved luxury goods for the reasons that I just stated. But the thing is that I'm an English speaker, I live in the US, and there aren't a whole lot of reputable places to buy pre-loved luxury where I am. There are the usual places that people know about, like Fashion File, Yuki's Closet, Rebag, that all have very good reputations. And then you have places like The Real, Vestiaire Collective, even eBay, where you're taking more of a chance on buying items, especially luxury items, because authenticity is sometimes a little bit up in the air. You always can get your items third-party authenticated by, the real authentication or someplace like that, but it is still a little bit scarier to buy when you aren't sure or as sure from the places you're buying from. Of course, there's also Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, Mercari, individual sellers or consignment shops in your area. I know that there are several consignment shops in the UK. There are places in Canada. There are places in New York. There are also Instagram sellers or luxury influencers who sell their own collections via vlog sale or Instagram sale. But even with all those things, something that I found is that the English market can still feel kind of small. In some cases, it's a matter of variety. There are less variety of items available, less types, or less styles, less colors that you're interested in, but also it can be a matter of price. As an example, while you still can get good deals on Fashion File, I'm often seeing them sell items for much higher prices than I would expect the item to be priced at. For instance, I'm really into vintage Chanel, vintage bags in general, but vintage Chanel is a love of mine, and sometimes on Fashion File I'll see a vintage Chanel bag from the 90s that might not have any accessories, no serial number, no card, might be painted, selling for something like $4,000 and not even very good condition. And that seems like a little bit high to me. In general, that seems a little bit high. But while I find the English market a lot more limited in what is offered, the Japanese market is huge. Asia in general is a big consumer of luxury goods, but today I'm talking specifically about buying on the Japanese market. Now, the nice thing about the Japanese market is that counterfeiting in Japan is incredibly illegal. And yes, it's illegal in America too. It's legal in most places, but in Japan it's taken seriously. If a company is found selling illegal goods, the company itself will be fined. People can be jailed, the company itself can be shut down. You need a license in Japan to sell luxury goods, and if you are found selling counterfeit goods, that license will be taken away and you are no longer allowed to sell those products in Japan anymore. Selling counterfeit goods in Japan is an activity that comes with actual repercussions and very detrimental repercussions to a business. So they tend to be very strict on making sure that they are only selling authentic items. So generally, when you're purchasing an item from Japan, you have a lot less worry, or at least I do in my mind, that I'm buying an inauthentic piece. And of course, you always can get it second or third party authenticated, as you should really when you're buying things in the pre-loved market. But I'm a lot less worried in general that I have a chance to buy something inauthentic from a Japanese seller. But how do you buy luxury items from Japan if you're not physically in Japan? Well, the internet is a wonderful thing, and there are websites and third parties that allow you to buy through them in order to get the item from a Japanese seller. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So I'm going to scoot over a little bit so I'm going to be able to show you on the screen what I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to try to screen record what I will be discussing so I can give you actual examples of the process. Now today I'm going to be talking to you about Buyee, which is a third-party purchaser, like I said, that I have used before a number of times, that several people I know have used a number of times, generally without any issue. They are fast, they are responsive, they are trustworthy, and so that is what I'm going to be talking to you about today. There are other third-party websites that you can buy through, but I'm going to be talking to you today specifically about Buyee and how to use Buyee to shop on Japanese eBay, Japanese Mercari, Japanese Rakuten, and Japanese Rakuma. Now, the first thing that you want to do is access the Buyee website. Now, all links will be down below for you, including some search terms in Japanese that might help you find what you're looking for, because this is kind of a big treasure hunt, and it's not going to be as easy to find things because, first of all, it's not easy to find things anyway, just on eBay, even if you're searching in English. But on Japanese, when it's a different language, it's a little bit harder, so I'm going to be trying to help you out there. So again, first of all, you want to go to buyee.jp, and you're going to want to make an account. This account is free to make, but in order to access everything, you do need to have an account. So make the account on Buyee, and make sure that when you are accessing buyee.jp, you are on a mobile device or a computer that allows you to translate the page into English, because with the page translated, it'll be a lot easier for you to actually, log in and enter your credentials and figure out what you're doing. So having an app or a computer that does have the translate into English function is going to be very useful to you. Not for searches, but for navigating the website in general, that's going to be very helpful. So you're going to go to buyee.jp, and again, all links will be down below, and create an account and log in. So now that you're logged in and you have an account, that's where the fun begins. And we have a couple of different places to look. First of all, we have the auctions, which is Japanese eBay, and then we have shopping, which are the Mercari, Rakuten, Rakuma places. So first of all, I'm going to show you a little bit about auctions. So you're going to click on the auction button, and actually going to click on the yellow button that says auction. And now you're in Japanese auctions, and you're going to see that you can search by category or by keyword. Now, in searching for luxury goods, obviously keywords are very important, especially if you're looking for specific brands or specific items. So you're going to want to make sure that your keywords are as specific as possible, but they do have to be in Japanese. Now, as I said, I'm going to be including some search terms in my description box that might help you look for what you're interested in. But here's a tip that will hopefully be very helpful to you. Go to Google Translate on your phone or on your computer and have the language be English translated into Japanese. And you're going to be able to type in your search terms and have it be translated into Japanese, which will hopefully help you search for what you're looking for. Now, the thing about Japanese is that it has actually 3 different syllabaries, alphabet syllabaries. And so they're hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And katakana is mostly what we're looking for here. Katakana is the Japanese syllabary for words that are not Japanese. So Louis Vuitton, for instance, is not a Japanese word. You're going to get the katakana for that when you search it. So say, for instance, we're looking for a Chanel Caviar piece, and that's all we're looking for right now. We're looking for a Chanel piece in Caviar on the Japanese market. So we're going to type in Chanel Caviar. And then we're going to get the katakana underneath that is the translated version of Chanel Caviar. And you're probably going to also be able to see the actual sound out of what it says. It's going to be Caviar Shanaru. So you're going to copy that, okay? Go back to Buyee and paste that into your search term. And when it loads, you're going to have all these different listings of Chanel items that are in Caviar. And so that's the first thing that you want to know in terms of searching for things on Buyee. You want to be able to search for what you are looking for. So I have, for instance, a number of different search terms that I have saved, that I have, translated things into Japanese, and then I've saved the search terms so I can access it really easily. And one of the things I have saved, for instance, is stuff from Takashi Murakami. So I'm interested in Takashi Murakami pieces. I've mentioned this before. I'm actually hoping to make a video soon about the history of Takashi Murakami's art and the collaborations that he's done with Louis Vuitton, especially the character pieces like the flowers and cherries and animals with weird faces and stuff. So maybe stay tuned for that. Tell me if you're interested in it. So let's search for Takashi Murakami. And once it loads, you're going to see that there's options for high to low, newly listed, number of bids, ending soon. So let's say we're looking for newly listed pieces from Takashi Murakami. And then you can scroll down and kind of see all the different options, right? And then you say that you see this, cherry pochette. You can click on that and it'll load and it'll show you the actual page here. So we're looking at this cherry pochette that is going for a buyout price and a bid price. Now, the thing about Japanese eBay is that, kind of like real eBay, you have auctions and you also have buy it nows. When an item is being sold for a buyout price, that means that you can buy it for the price listed. You don't have to bid. So this item right here is being sold for a buyout price of 107,273 yen. With the tax included, it would be 118,000 yen. And then it shows underneath that that's approximately $1,070.26. and that the time remaining for the bid is 6 days, and you can win that for the buyout price. So if you pressed win for buyout price, you'd be paying $1,070.26 for this item, and you'd just be getting that, and then from there, you'd be paying also the fee that Buyee charges in order to be the third party. Now, of course, we do want to know how much Buyee will be charging us to be the third party, and it's not a very large fee. In order to find that out, you can hit total estimate, and then it'll show you the simple estimation tool. So you'll be able to put in how much the item costs, where it's being shipped to, and approximately the package weight. Now, because you're just buying like bags or, SLGs, whatever you end up buying, it's not going to weigh that much. So I usually put in 1,000 kilograms. So I'm going to put in 1,000 kilograms. Dimension doesn't matter. It's just optional. It'll estimate. And I'll show you how much you're estimated to pay, including Buyee's fee and shipping the item. So, there's EMS, courier post, there's Buyee air delivery, there are a couple of different surface mail, there are a couple of different options. And you'll see that the Buyee service fee is 300 yen. And then there's the international shipping fee. A quick note, you might end up paying an additional shipping fee once the item hits the warehouse. So Buyee charges you for shipping the item from the seller to the Buyee warehouse, and then they do sometimes charge you additionally to ship the item from their warehouse to you. It's not usually very much depending on the item. It's usually something like $10 to $30. If the item is very expensive, the shipping might be more because they usually do insure it. So do sometimes tack on like $20 or $50 to the estimate, because that's probably an additional fee that you'll be paying. Another thing to note in terms of additional fees is that you will have to pay customs and duties on these items. Now, for instance, I'm an American, and so I only pay customs and duties on imported goods $800 or more. So if I buy an item off of Buyee that's $600, I don't have to pay customs and duties on it. And I also don't have to pay taxes on it because I'm buying it from a non-taxed area, as opposed to a site like American eBay, which does include tax. So if I buy an item for $600 on Buyee, and after the fees and everything it's $700, I don't have to pay customs and duties on it. This item, for instance, is going to be over $1,000. So I am going to have to pay customs and duties if I end up purchasing it. And customs and duties for America is usually about 10%. You can check for your own country how much that ends up being, but for America, it's usually about 10% per item. So if an item is $1,000, expect to pay $100 additional for the duties. So, a $1,000 item would end up being $1,100 plus, the $50 shipping. So an $1,000 item might end up being something like $1,150 or $1,200. And obviously, the more expensive the item, the higher this price is. If you're buying a $5,000 item, the item is probably going to be $5,500 in the end. So you do want to be aware of that, because obviously customs and duties is sometimes a pretty big ding. I know that for Dubai it's a lot more expensive than it is to America, but it depends on the item too. So just make sure that you check in your own country. So that's the estimation tool for a buy it now price. Now, another thing that you want to make sure that you check is when you're on the page, you see the item, look through all the pictures, because for the Japanese market, and for every market really, the pictures are part of the description. Make sure that you zoom in to see all the details, whether or not, if it's like a Louis Vuitton piece, if there's chipping on the imagery, if it's a Chanel piece, whether or not the corners are really worn, if there's breaks in the leather, stuff like that. You want to check the pictures. You also have the option of looking at more about the item. So if you click more about the item, it'll show you the description of the item as per the seller. And obviously I have this translated into English, so it's easier for me to see. You'll see usually the dimensions. Always check the dimensions. You don't want to be buying a bag that you think is a tote and ends up being like a mini bag that looks like a tote. Make sure you check the dimensions and strap drop. It'll tell you the material. It'll tell you whether or not it comes with accessories. So for instance, this comes with accessories, none. It'll tell you also, usually Japanese sellers have a ranking system, like, Z, S, A, B, C, D, in terms of used, most used, least used, brand new. So you want to check that too and look at the description, because it'll mention stuff like if there's a smell, for instance, or if there are stains, or if there's a cut. So that's something that you do want to make sure that you check in terms of the description. I mean, you always should be reading the description when you buy anything online, but it's very important for the Japanese sellers because they do tend to tell you every little detail. So another thing that you want to make sure of is you know what you're buying when you're buying it, because even if you end up being able to return the item, if it's over $800 for Americans, or if it's over the amount that you pay for duties, you don't get the duties back if you return the item. And often you do have to pay return shipping if you change your mind. Now, if you buy an item and it's defective, the warehouse will tell you, and they will give you the option of refunding your money because the item was not what was described in the listing. But if the item is sent to you and you have a change of heart or something else is different and you do want to make use of a return policy, if the seller has a return policy, they often don't, you will have to kind of eat the customs and duties fee. So as I mentioned before, search terms are very important when you're looking on the Japanese market, because the different search terms are kind of how you're going to find the item you want if you're looking for something very specific. As some of you may know, I recently put out a wishlist video of 2022, or like an ongoing wishlist video that I had of dream items. And one of the items on this list was a Chanel piece in the chevron quilting. And the thing is that if I search Chanel chevron on the Japanese market, I wouldn't find very much, because the Japanese don't call it chevron. They call it V-stitch quilting. So if I'm going to be searching on the Japanese market, Japanese eBay, I want to search Chanel V-stitch. And so I already have that kind of in my saved searches. So I click Chanel V-stitch, it does load, and then I get all the hits of the items that have the V-stitch pattern or quilting. And so I'm able to look through them and see them based on, the price, based on the style. You can see them, how much they are, whether or not they're in Caviar or Lambskin, if they're a style that is interesting or a style that you're not really interested in. And you can kind of just look through it all and do a little bit of digging to see if there's something in the search that you like. And that's kind of where the treasure hunt comes in, because you don't know what's going to pop up, just like you don't know what's going to pop up on any resale website. You kind of just have to look through it and see what you find. Now, say I find an item that I do really like that doesn't have a buyout price on it. So for instance, this beautiful caramel V-stitch, it looks like a jumbo. It says that the possible maximum bidding amount has been exceeded and your bid cannot be accepted. That will happen sometimes. Buyee has a limit for foreign purchasers. I think it's something like $5,000 or 500,000 yen, where once it reaches that threshold, if you don't have an established relationship with Buyee, like you don't have a lot of history with them, you haven't already contacted them before, they won't allow you to purchase. You'll see that the place bid and the snipe it now option is grayed out, and that's because they don't want to risk a person buying something very expensive and then, reneging on the deal and not following through. And also, you might have a auction that you bid on canceled sometimes, because the seller will know that you're buying through a third-party website and they don't want to sell to foreigners for a variety of reasons, and they'll cancel your auction bid. So sometimes you get excited and you win something and it's canceled on you, and that's, a little bit disheartening, but it is something that just happens. Sometimes this will also happen with specific sellers. Like if you click on a seller and the seller has a low rating, they won't actually allow you to buy the item because the seller doesn't have a good reputation yet. So if you end up finding an item that's being sold for like a lower price and it's a seller that doesn't have a good reputation, you're still not allowed to buy the item even if it's supposedly a bargain, because who knows, if Buyee doesn't trust them, maybe you shouldn't either. But right now, say I don't want to buy just a Chanel V-stitch bag, or I'm not looking specifically for Chanel V-stitch. I have the option of also searching within their own tagging system, their own like tab system. So right now I have fashion by label, sheet, Chanel bags, and shoulders. And so say I want to look at Chanel shoulder bags, I can click on the shoulders option, and once that loads, I'm going to be able to see all the bags that are in the shoulder category as listed by the seller. And you can see that this is 6,402 hits. So there's a lot of options. It might take you a while to get through all of them if you wanted to. But you can look at newly listed, you can look at, say, high to low, number of bids, and you also can say ending soon. So sometimes that's fun to look through what's ending soonest, because you can see like what's been bid on and how much it's being bid on for. Just scrolling through that to see if you can find any treasures. And one of the things that I like to do is I also like to adjust my search parameters. Now you can't do this on mobile, that I've been able to figure out, but you can do this on desktop, where you can actually adjust the price that you want to search for, like the max price. So you can change, like if you only want to spend up to 400,000 yen, which is approximately $3,800, like $3,800-ish, then you can do that. You can search by price. So that can be something good to do. If you know that you're not going to be able to buy anything over the $500,000 yen mark, then you don't want to have those things show up in your search, because it would just get discouraging. If you find something really, really nice for over 500,000 yen, then you can't buy it. That's, not so much fun. So you can do that to filter out those items. In the event that you find something on Japanese eBay that you like, but you don't want to purchase it right now, or if it's an auction, you just want to keep an eye on it, what you can do is you can star it and it goes to your wish list. So I cannot find a way to have Mercari or Rakuma or anything being added to a wish list, but you can do it for the auctions, and that's kind of nice. All right, so say that you found an item that you do really like. We found this beautiful Chanel jumbo. It looks like it's in great condition. It comes with card and booklet. If you look at the pictures, you can swipe through. It seems very, very nice and gorgeous. We're going to look at the corners, and there is some wear on the corners, but say that doesn't matter to you. You would get them touched up by leather surgeons or some other place that does touch-ups. It looks really good otherwise, and you like that it comes with the card and the serial seal intact. So you want to bid on it because this is an auction. So you can see that it says the current price, that there are 6 days remaining. There are 20 bids on it so far, and the options are place bid or snipe it now. Now, Snipe It Now is kind of like regular eBay, where you can snipe, you can put in a bid that will go in the last minute. So for Snipe It Now on Japanese eBay, it will be in the last 5 minutes. So say your current price is, 101,000 yen. You can snipe it for whatever price you want, and 5 minutes left before the auction is over, it'll place that bid for you, or it will place up to that bid for you. So say your maximum is 250,000 yen. If the bidding only goes up to 230,000 yen, you can still win at 230. You don't have to pay the 250,000 if nobody bids over you. But if 250,000 is your max and somebody bids 260,000, then obviously you'll lose out on the listing. So say I click Snipe It Now and it loads. You see that you can place your bid, and it will also show you the estimated amount in your own currency. In my currency, it's USD. That's kind of nice. It also will show you the payment fee and the Buyee service fees, and it shows you the different methods of payment. So that's all really simple. You'll see the standard plan being standard plan, insured delivery, inspection only, or the light plan. For these types of items, I would suggest the standard plan, which is just 500 yen, or roughly $4.50 or something like that. Conversion rates are different, and I will touch on that in a second. But the standard plan basically means that it will be insured, it'll be inspected, and there is somebody looking at the item and making sure it's the right item, that it's insured when it's sent to you. And so if there's any issues with the item, you will be able to get a refund or have somebody discuss it with you, so all the problems are taken care of. So say your bid, you want your snipe bid to be probably something that might win. What you want to do is make sure that you're not doing like an even number. So you can say you want to bid up to 250,000 yen. So what you can do is you can bid up to 297,000 yen. So so something like that, 250,970 yen instead of, an even number. And so that small amount of yen might make a difference, because someone might bid 250,900 yen, but 970, 977, that's a little bit more leeway in you winning by a few yen. And that's kind of a cool option to do. And then it shows your estimation. So if you bid for, that amount of yen, it'll be about $2,276.37. Then it shows you the plan listing and what your total would be, which would be about $2,500. And of course, $2,500 plus the shipping to you, which guess it at $50, I would say. Just, it's better to guess high than low. So $2,550, $2,565. And then your customs, so that would be like an additional $250 on top of that. So altogether, if you won this listing for this beautiful jumbo, plus shipping, plus, customs duties, then you'd be paying about $2,800 for it. not bad, and you really can get deals like that. It's pretty dang cool. Obviously, always read all the fine print, read all the descriptions. I would recommend this even if you've watched this video, to read what everything says and what everything means. Read what is a sniper bid so you know, read all the shipping information, just, educate yourself. But this is just an introduction to how to do all of these things. And of course, how to win an auction in the event that you want to auction off instead of just, buying on the item. So that's Japanese eBay, but say we want to look at other avenues, because sometimes just because something is listed on eBay doesn't mean it isn't also listed on Mercari or Rakuten, but also some things that are listed on Mercari aren't listed on eBay. You kind of want to search all these places, especially if you're looking for a specific item and at a specific price. So say we want to look at Mercari for something. We'll click on, Mercari, and say I want to look for the Louis Vuitton Cherry Blossom pochette, or something in the Louis Vuitton Cherry Blossom print by Takashi Murakami. So I have the search saved, but I'll click on that save search, and I will be able to see all the items that are currently for sale, how much it's being sold for, and what, the price is in English. Unfortunately, sometimes, even if it says only show us available stock, things will be sold when you click on it. So for instance, this one for 60,000 yen, you click on it and it says the item is sold out. And that's a little annoying, but it's just something that you can't change. So, just keep that in mind. But you have all these other options. If you want to, say, buy an umbrella, there's one for sale, and that's pretty cool with the, Takashi Murakami print. $595 plus shipping, no customs because it's under 800. That's pretty neat. And again, if you're looking for something specific, so say I'm looking for Gucci in the Donald Duck print. I have, been interested in the Gucci Donald Duck collaboration, and I missed out on it when it came out in 2021. So say I'm looking for it on the Preloved market, and I'm looking on the Japanese Preloved market. So I'm going to type in Gucci and say just Donald, into my Japanese search translation, and I get Gucci Donarudo, which is Gucci Donald, obviously. Copy it, go back to Mercari, and put it into my search term, and search by that. And here we have 64 results for the Gucci Donald Duck prints. We have, card holder, we've got a tote, we've got a hat, a couple of hats, shoes. We've got this, shirt, iPhone case, iPhone 11 case, not exactly useful to me, but you've got all these other options that you have that, you might not be able to find on the Japanese eBay, for instance. And look at this. I found this Gucci tote for 130,000 yen. Let's check on it, see if it's sold or not. And it is not sold. So you have the option of buying this Gucci tote. Looks like it comes with all of the items and the strap. Look at the corners, a little bit of wear, but not too bad. And that is being sold for 130,000 yen, or again, about $1,180. And you have the option of proceeding to the order page and buying it right off the bat. And then of course you can go to total estimate to see how much it might cost with everything. And you also can of course go to more about the items for the explanation and, translate it so you can see where it's from necessarily, what the description is. This person is saying that they bought it in a Gucci shop in Nagoya and then they became pregnant and so they haven't had a chance to use it. On Mercari, since it's usually individuals as opposed to businesses usually sell in Japanese eBay, and Mercari are more individuals. They'll have these personal stories or, interesting stories. You also see at the bottom it says, I think there is a question about the authenticity of fake products, but please be assured that only genuine products will be used. That's something that you're going to find a lot, where somebody will say in the description, don't worry, it's authentic. Don't worry, it's authentic. But it's kind of translates to being a little cuter sometimes. They also will often say, if you are nervous, please do not bid, or if you are nervous, please do not buy, or if you are worried about used item, please do not buy. And that's just kind of giving you, the information of this is a used pre-loved item. It's not a new condition. If you want it to be in brand spanking new condition, don't buy it because you won't like it. And yeah, that's perfectly fair. So that's Mercari, and that search term, works for Rakuten and Rakuma as well. So if you go to, shopping, you go to Rakuten, you paste, your search term, which, for me was Gucci Donald Duck. And so on Rakuten, I only get these two things that show up, which, is not very much. So there's nothing really on Rakuten that has, you know, Gucci Donald Duck collaboration, and that's something that happens sometimes. You're not going to find things on some sites, you're going to find more things than others, and it's good to be able to search through all these different places. So again, like using search terms and using different search terms can be very helpful. For instance, I also was interested in the Takashi Murakami, like panda, you know, that little animal. So I have, instead of searching for Takashi Murakami, I actually just searched for like panda, like, or agenda panda, or Louis Vuitton panda. And so, for instance, in here, my search was agenda panda, and you can see that that gave me the Louis Vuitton panda agenda as pretty much the only option, and for different prices. Now, I know for a fact that some of these are already sold. So like this one, which is being sold for like $360. If you click on that, like, oh, add to shopping cart. Never mind, it is available, but you also want to, again, check the quality and the condition. So you'll see this one, the condition is pretty beat up, pretty chipped, which is, even though it's being sold for $360, it's still not necessarily the condition that you want. And if it's not the condition that you want, you're not saving any money purchasing something because you're not going to be happy with the item. So, you know, again, something to keep in mind. So that was just a little bit of information on how to start navigating your way into purchasing luxury goods, or anything really, on the Japanese pre-loved market. Again, it's a really interesting resource. It's got so much variety, and you can you can lose hours and hours just searching for different things. So, you know, maybe pace yourself in the beginning, especially if you're looking for something general like vintage Chanel. You search Chanel shoulder bags, you're just going to see oodles and oodles and oodles of options for a variety of prices, some that are really awesome. You do want to make sure that you check the description, of course, because in the description they'll tell you, as I said before, they'll tell you the condition, they'll tell you whether or not it comes with accessories. Sometimes they'll say that it comes with just the serial seal and no card, like stickers no card, or the sticker was destroyed, or you'll tell you that the bag was repainted. Pay attention to that stuff, because if you pay attention before you buy, then you're less likely to be unhappy after you make the purchase. So what happens after you make a purchase or win an auction is, again, you will process your payments, and then the item will be sent to the Buyee warehouse. Buyee will inspect it if you pay for the inspection plan, and then they will ship it off to you. And they generally ship with DHL. I have only ever gotten anything shipped to me with DHL. I don't actually think that they use anything else. They might, but I've only experienced DHL. And then they will also like send you information to your email about like when it was shipped out, what the tracking number is, so you can monitor the shipments. And again, they will often charge you an additional shipping fee to get it to you. So you're paying for, again, the convenience of the third party to allow you to purchase items from Japanese sellers. One thing of note in terms of buying the items and currency is that, as I showed you in the, you know, pictures up there, you're going to see the yen, and you're also going to see the currency conversion, but you're not going to know exactly to like the penny how much you pay until you actually process the purchase, because the amount changes based on the currency conversion of that exact moment, basically, like of that day. So if the currency conversion at the time is like 100 yen equals 80 cents, as opposed to 100 yen being $1, then you might end up paying less or a little bit more than you originally expected to. Not by a lot, just by like probably $10 or $15, depending on, again, the currency conversion. But the currency conversion will change because it changes, you know, on the daily. So even if you buy something for 100,000 yen, which you think is $1,000, 100,000 yen might end up being like $965. So just, you know, something to note. Now, as I said, I really want to help you out in terms of navigating these Japanese markets. So I am, in the description box below, going to be providing you some key search terms that you might be wanting to use that might not cross your mind in terms of typing them into Google Translate. Google Translate is your friend, and it will really help you out in navigating, but I'm going to include things like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Takashi Murakami, Caviar, like some general search terms that, you know, in the luxury community, in the Japanese luxury community, that might really help you out. If you need additional assistance or just have some questions on Japanese search terms, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to help you out. If there is something on the pre-loved market that you're currently searching for and you might be turning to the Japanese pre-loved market now, please let me know what it is. I'd love to hear about it, and I'd love to hear about whether or not I helped you search for it. If you do find it on the Japanese pre-loved market and this video helped you out with that, please do let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I really would. If you're interested in other informative videos like this one from me, please feel free to share your ideas ideas in a comment. And again, I hope you found this video enjoyable and hopefully helpful. If you like this video, please do give it a like. It super duper helps the algorithm, and subscribe for more content that helps the algorithm even more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.